These roads of flames are catching a fire. Showed you I loved you, you called me a liar. Oh, no, no.
You notice most of the Bible is a conversation or a event that happens between God and his people. And it's basically God is close with his people sin, and then God asks them to repent. They refuse, they're punished, and then the cycle starts all over again where, you know, they're close to God for maybe a generation, then they start worshiping idols. God sends a prophet, says, hey, listen, clean up your act or things are gonna get rough because I can't be around sin. They don't listen, they get scattered, and it repeats again. Basically, even through, you know, the New Testament is more like look forward into kind of why these things happen. It explains a little bit more in detail, but really most of the Bible is just God sending out people to warn his people in hopes that they will listen and repent so that they are not, you know, destroyed from their own sin. And that's actually why I'm here today. I have another dream that I had. It's not a long dream. It's pretty simple. Really, this dream was just about kind of like I'm not actually sure what it's called. It's a type of a cyber attack that you can do to civilizations that are very dependent on technology. Sorry, hold on 1 second. Basically, what this is I don't really know how it works, but a enemy country would do something to shut down everything that runs on electricity in that country, or maybe in that city, or whatever, that state. And I mean everything, like nothing with electricity will work. Nothing with electricity will work. Your car will not work. Your lights will not work. I'm not sure about generators, but I don't think that they'll work either. Anything with electricity is fried. I think so. I know that it doesn't work. I don't know if it's like ruined forever, but I know like nothing will work. It's worse than a power outage. It makes it so that it can't be repaired. Like it has to be, I don't know how you'd fix that, but it has to be like remade basically. And that's what my dream was about. It was about that happening where it was the power grid. I had a dream about the power grid shutting down over America. I was in America. I'm not sure if it was the whole America, but I know that where I was, it happened. And so it was an attack to America. I was still where, like the area that I am now, so the East Coast. My mom and me decided to walk to a campground. I don't know why, but it was a family campground. They have cabins. You can park your RV. It's very nice. And kind of like be in one of the cabins, just to have all of our stuff and just be in one of the cabins away from society, kind of a thing. We brought a lot of canned food with us, and I remember arguing with her about how disgusting it was for her to bring canned shrimp. I don't know if you can do that, but it was canned shrimp instead of food that I would eat. And I remember I was telling her, I was like, just because it's a disaster doesn't mean you can't bring junk food. You don't have to bring food. That's nasty. You can bring like oodles and noodles, bro. Bring the ramen. I don't want shrimp. And I remember in the dream, she pulled one of the shrimps out and she was putting it in my face. Ugh! It was still alive too. Its little legs were going like this and it still had its head on. Okay? This has nothing to do with it. But still, this was in my dream, okay? And I was panicking. My mom's like, what? It's just food. It's food. I was like, it's a sea cockroach. It's a cockroach and it's disgusting and it's a bug and its little feet were going Okay, so that just picture that, okay? And I got so fed up, I walked back to my house. Now keep in mind, this is not a short walk. This is probably a couple hours of a walk. I was hungry, and she brought canned beans and shrimp, and I was mad because I had stuff stored that was not nasty. Like, I had chickpeas. I know how to make a bomb. Well, my grandma knows how to make a bomb soup, okay? I was like, pack the salt, pack the sugar. Just because disaster happens doesn't mean you gotta run out of sugar. Buy the sugar now. Stock it up. You know I like sugar, buy it up, okay? And I was saying the same thing with salt. What? Just cause the stores ain't open don't mean you can't have salt. Stock it up now. You don't have to eat canned beans. You can buy and can stuff that's not nasty, okay? So I walked back to my house because we forgot the other food, which was my tub of safety food that was not disgusting raw shrimp. Where is it? Yeah, that's basically what I said. I tried to start, okay, so when I walked back to my house, I tried to start my car just to see if it would work. Because I remember talking to my mom in the dream, and I was like, maybe they put an EMT thing in my car. I think that's what it's called, to like prevent, you know, if the power grid goes down, your car from shutting off. That's what it's supposed to do. I don't know how you test that. But I was trying to see, I was thinking maybe they put it into the newer cars just automatically. They did not. And my car is not new enough for me to even have tried that. But for some reason in the dream I did, and I was disappointed because it was like, and nothing was happening. And then it seemed that our house was actually a hotel. So kind of in my dream, the environment kept changing, like dreams do. It kind of seemed like I wasn't sure exactly where I was, like where home base was. Like obviously there was the cabin. That stayed as a cabin. That stayed as the campground. But as I went back to like where the stuff, my stuff was, where the extra food was, the environment kind of kept changing between homes that I've had in the past and like a hotel that I've never been to. And it was just really weird. So keep in mind that the environment might keep switching. The power was kind of flickering on and off. I could see my Wi-Fi bar on my phone going on and off. Ironically, I forgot how to get back to the campground. I realized when I got back to the hotel that I did not know how to get back on foot. So I used the opportunity to text my mom as soon as possible while I had the signal, which shouldn't be possible, by the way, but it was. Because if that happens, the phone towers are not gonna be in operation. Neither is the telephone poles or nothing's gonna work. But for some reason it worked because I needed help getting back. I grabbed specific items that were in, now this is what we called the junk room in my childhood home. Grandma's room. Because we would stuff grandma in there when she came to visit. I feel so bad. But it was just a room piled in just random stuff that we did not want in the rest of the house. And we called it grandma's room. Among the mess I grabbed very specific items. One of those items, and I remember it was like a very highlighted item. I don't know why this was highlighted to me in the dream, but it was a needle and thread. I picked it up, and in my mind I was thinking like, I'm gonna probably need to sew some stuff, patch some holes. Let me grab a needle and thread. I don't know why, that was just there. And I had a little purse too, actually, I remember. While I was sticking some of the smaller items in that I had forgotten, like that. The second one of the items was my sleeping medication. I don't know why, but I grabbed it, so. And then as far as items that I grabbed in that room, that's all I can remember, but I know there was other specific items that I was picking up that were kind of like highlighted to me. And then my grandma was there for some reason. It went from a hotel, shifted into my old house, and my grandma was there standing in the doorway. she was going to celebrate. Telling me about how she was going to celebrate some kind of birthday or anniversary with her like sisters, it seemed like. And then suddenly the hotel or wherever I was standing in seemed to be in a city. Like it instead of it being like where I live, it turned into like New York. And it was not super downtown New York, but like way more civilized than it is here. Like buildings and apartment buildings. And I was just like, because that's the only thing that would make sense for her to go see her sisters, because that's kind of where they all kind of huddle together. That's where they all are. And I could hear like city sounds. I could hear chaos around me. In very few cars, I could hear cars that seemed to be powered by something other than electricity. So some people, I don't know if they were military cars or whatever they were, but there was something driving that I would hear, but not like how it was supposed to sound in a city. It was very few cars. I don't know what they were powered by, but gas cars would not work. Forget about a Tesla, because that's not going to work. Like, you would have to have some kind of weird, obscure car that ran off of, like, no electricity whatsoever, no push-to-start button. Everything would have to be powered by something that's not using an electrical current, basically. I told my grandma what happened, and that the grid shut down, and that this was a cyber attack. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. And that this was waging war on America. Like, this was kind of like not the beginnings of for America, because that's already happened. It's so like watered down, like poison fed to you slowly that you don't recognize it until you're like, oh, stuff is starting to hurt on my body. Well, this was like the first ow, okay? And she became very serious. I told her that I felt so bad that she couldn't go to her celebration. I felt really bad because she seemed so excited to go. It seemed like, I don't know, some kind of celebration, and, you know, I felt bad because she was all dressed up. But for some reason, early on in the dream, I had already baked a cake. And I remember in this dream, I was very proud of this cake. This was before disaster happened and we didn't have power. I was in the house. I was baking a cake, dude, okay? And this cake had Snoopy on it, okay? It was so cute. It was decorated for Christmas, and I had candy canes like sticking. Oh, mwah! I wish I could do that. I can't do that. Like, I can't bake cakes like that, okay? But I had a cake, and it was just there, sitting there, and I was like, just because it's a disaster doesn't mean I can't eat cake. Like, it's already made. Calm down. I can still enjoy my time. Like, okay, so I just had a cake, and I said it was more of a Christmas cake, but I told her that she could eat it if she wanted to, and then that was okay because, and that it was fine because it was nowhere near Christmas yet. I don't know why I baked a Christmas cake so early, but basically I was telling Grandma, I was like, I'm so sorry you don't get to go to your celebration. Here's cake. I hope that makes you feel better. I also had another cake. Don't know where it just kind of showed up. It was an Oreo cookies and cream cake, as well. And I remember biting into both of them. Oh my goodness. I must have been hungry when I went to bed. Because, like, in the middle of God, like, trying to tell me something at the same time, I'm, like, dreaming about eating cake. And I don't like cake, too. So it had to be some really good cake. I was like, oh, this one's good. And I was biting into the other one. Bro, the Oreo cake, though. My cake was good that I baked with Snoopy on it, okay? But the Oreo cookies and cream cake, I gotta find that recipe. Because that cake, I can still taste it. It was so good. So good. Oh, my goodness, okay? Yeah, my grandma liked both of them. She was happy that I gave her cakes, blah, 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 blah. Then we had a tub of extra food, like one of those recyclable bin tubs, that we were gonna go carry back to the campground, back to my mom, that's doing whatever. I remember that I went into my old childhood bedroom to grab my boots that are in this bedroom, which makes no sense, but that's what I was gonna do. And I had bought these boots specifically for if there was ever an emergency and I needed just like a pair of solid shoes that I could just keep on through all seasons, basically. They were waterproof, sturdy brand. I could walk in anything with them, and I'm not getting no funky foot fungus or nothing nasty like that. So I grabbed those boots that I had been saving. I also remember grabbing very warm pajamas, like my onesies. A specific onesie was highlighted to me. I don't even know where it is. But it was like a blue Yeti onesie, probably got from Walmart. But I remember it's super fluffy. Okay, so I grabbed these super fluffy onesies. And I remember I did this because I knew that the nights were going to be very cold. And then I remembered that I needed to grab, oh yeah, right before we were about to leave and go walk back to the campground, I kept sitting and I was like, wait, Grandma, I need to think about something. Like, I'm missing something. I was like, oh yeah, I'm a girl. I need to grab stuff, like that stuff. And I ran to the bathroom and I was like, oh, this is not going to be enough stuff. I hope they fix this soon, cause yo, okay, I threw it in the bin though. I grabbed it. I didn't forget it. That would have been bad, okay? But I grabbed the stuff that I needed. And then I went to go. We left my house and into the hotel foyer, I guess, again. Yeah, and I mentioned, keep in mind, the environment of this dream just kept switching back and forth between hotel, my old house, my apartment. It was very confusing. But it was a place where I was residing and had items that I needed. Like, the items that I needed were spread across these different places that I was seeing. What the heck did I write here? I was using voice chat, so it probably messed it up. Okay, at the end kind of my dream, I was talking to this boy that kind of looked like a kid that I know. I don't think it was him, but he kind of looked like him. I was talking to this young kid, and I was like, hey, I don't know how to get back to the camp. Do you know how to get there from here on foot? And he was like, yeah, I'll show you. Asking for directions. And then he was directing me how to get back. And then I woke up. Also, some notable things in the dream was the mention of the movie Don't Look Up. I don't remember why this was in my... I think it's called Don't Look Up. But I remember in my dream saying to myself, I wish I had watched it because it was going to show us exactly what to do. I've never watched Don't Look Up. Or Don't... Let me look this up. Hold on. Don't Look... I think it's a new movie that they posted. Yeah. I don't know what it's about. I remember I saw like little like Instagram reels where like Teslas were like crashing into each other and there was no drivers or something weird like that. But for some reason that was highlighted in my dream too. So yeah. Not making a lot of sense right now. But I know when I'm supposed to share a dream. I was supposed to share this one, so I just kept it. Everything, didn't keep stuff to myself to make it sound better. Just completely raw, how it sounds, how it was, how I experienced it. This was a dream I had today, actually. And I have a couple verses for you. The first verse is Hosea 14:9. Let those who are wise understand these things. Let those with discernment listen carefully. The paths of the Lord are true and right, and righteous people live by walking in them. But in those paths, sinners stumble and fall. And the next verse I have for you is in the book over in Joel chapter 2, verses 28, 29, and 32. Or actually, let's just do 28 through 32. Then after doing all those things, I will pour out my spirit upon all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy, your old men will dream dreams, and your young men will see visions. In those days I will pour out my spirit, even on servants, men and women alike. And I will cause wonders in heavens and on the earth, blood and fire and columns of smoke. The sun will become dark, and the moon will turn blood red, before the great and terrible day of the Lord arrives. But everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. And for some on Mount Zion in Jerusalem will escape, just as the Lord has said. These will be among the survivors whom the Lord has called.
Baby, tell me where you gone. I've been feeling for your love so long. We can praise God